Hi guys, it's been a long time I know, but welcome back to another video. You join me today in a new car for the channel. It is, as you've seen already from the thumbnail, a BMW E60 5 Series. It's the 520 and it was extremely cheap. It's a bit of a sort of a fixer-upper job. I am in two minds whether to keep the car because it is a cheap, reliable, economical runaround, which I don't actually currently own. But there is also some profit to be made in it. So I'll probably be asking for a little bit of advice later down the line as to whether I should keep this car or sell it. And that is going to depend on what we do to it and how much we spend. But with that said, let's get outside, give you a little look around the car, talk you through some of the good points, the bad points, and let me know how much you think this car cost me. I'm not going to tell you the price, but let you know what you think this car's worth. Bear in mind, a good example of this car, so it's a 520, good example of this car, this age, it's probably around 2.5 grand. So let me know how much you think I paid, let me know how much you think this is worth, and I'll show you around the car now. So it's a 520D in Titan Silver, which is not a bad colour. It's good for showing up not showing up marks and scratches and stuff like that. But all in all, the bodywork on this vehicle is pretty honest. There are a few bad points, and we're going to sort of look around them now and address what needs sorting out. It's the facelifted model, the LCI they call it. They didn't do a lot to facelift it, but what they did do is upgrade the headlights. So we've got LED turn signals, we've got LED halos, and we've got projectors as well. And they upgraded the backlights. So the rear lights are all LED. They look a bit nicer as well compared to the old LCIs. The LCIs, I believe, added this little boot spoiler for the M Sports. And inside, the LCIs also have a slightly better gear shifter, slightly more updated iDrive system, and just a few little tweaks and changes. The door cards are different on the LCIs. Either way, this is the newer, the slightly nicer, upgraded version. Like I say, this is the 520D. Unfortunately, being the LCI, the later version, the 520Ds are now a 4-cylinder rather than a 6-cylinder engine. Some people probably prefer that. They might say it's less on maintenance. They might say it's more reliable, better on fuel. Personally, being a bit of a BMW fan, I prefer the 6-cylinders, and I think they're a bit smoother. The power delivery is a bit smoother. So there it is, 4-cylinder 2-litre diesel. This car has had a remap. I've got printout as well, so it's running at about 220 brake horsepower. Not huge power, but it does move nicely. It's really nice to drive on the motorway, and around the lanes you can have a little bit of fun in it as well. Engine room's really nice, no knocks or bangs. It's had the timing chain done, and it's had a new water pump as well recently within the last year, and that as well as the remap, all done at the same sort of time with receipts. Loads of service history. It's been genuinely looked after. There are a few bad points on the vehicle. First one, while we're stood, is the front bumper. So it's had a bit of an impact somewhere. The car itself is straight, the chassis is not bent, so it's not had a big one, but the bumper has had a shunt. That is completely split through there. We've got that bit there as well. And we've got the tow eye cover missing as well. That was stolen apparently according to the previous owner. So ideally, I'd like to replace the front bumper. I will look at repairing it first. We'll see what the cost's like, and again, the idea is to leave some profit in this car to sell it. So I don't want to be spending too much money. If I end up deciding to keep it for a bit, maybe I'll spend a little bit more, but I will look at repairing the front bumper first. If I can get a good repair done, I'll be happy. If not, I'll probably look at replacing the bumper. Obviously, we need to get a tow eye cover as well, and I'll probably get a new set of number plates because I don't like the borders. I just want a nice clean set of number plates. Job done. Maybe some black grills, typical, but I like black grills. It goes well with the black trim on the windows as well, so maybe some black grills. But that's it under the bonnet. Pretty, not really much to talk about. Pretty good under the bonnet. On the bonnet, there is a dent, as you can see, with the light shining off it just there, right in the centre. Look at bonnets. I'm going to, again, I'll look at trying to press that dent out from the inside, maybe a little bit of heat on it, and we can push it out and make it look a bit better. If not, the bonnets are not a lot of money for these cars. A good bonnet with no dents, no scratches, only a couple of stone chips. I mean, this has got a few on it itself, but a few stone chips, you're probably looking at 70 quid for a bonnet, which is not that bad. I'm happy to spend that money if I need to. So I've had this car for a few days now. I've been using it to get to work and back in, just to get a feel for the car, just so I can listen to it, hear any knocks and bangs that it's got, and to be honest, it's bang on. But I haven't really had a chance to visually look at much or inspect under the covers. So we've got the bumpers sort of hanging off there, so the clips are obviously damaged. That's on both sides, so I need to see if they need replacing as well. That's probably got something to do with the front bumper. You might notice, eagle-eyed, we've got different coloured wheels on. So most of the other wheels have been painted in like an anthracite sort of grey colour. This one's stock silver. When I bought this car, I'll put a very bad quality dark photograph on the screen right now, but it didn't have a tyre on this wheel, and this wheel was completely smashed to pieces. Here's the wheel in question, still in the boot. I just want to show you the damage to it, if I can find it. Just there, look. Big crack. So previous owner hit something pretty severe, blew the tyre off, and obviously that wheel is not advised to be repaired. I had to bring my own wheel with me, so I used one of the wheels off my Z3 to drive this home. I bought a new wheel because the old one was irreparable, and I got a tyre on it as well, so that's replaced. What I will be doing is painting all of these wheels back to silver because they're all a bit chipped and damaged. So this one's not in perfect condition, as you can see, and then all of the others, I've got plenty of curbing on them. So I'm going to be putting all the wheels back to stock silver. These are not my favourite wheels for this car. I do prefer the sort of 19-inch ones that come on these. Usually found more on the 535s and the 530s. So possibly we'll change the wheels, who knows. Again, it's whether the money's right to do it. So I might refurbish these wheels. If I can get a good price for these wheels on eBay, I'll probably look at upgrading to some of the 19-inch ones, because I just don't think these are big enough for this car. To be honest, on the outside, that is it for the bad points. The rest of the car is really straight. I was going to say it's really clean, but it obviously isn't clean, as you can see. It needs a really good clean. I've not had a chance to clean it yet, so that's going to be getting done at the end of this video. We have also got the Hecko wind deflectors, genuine. Let me show you around the inside of the car. Now, some would say this is sort of the poverty spec car. I would be one of those people. It's got plenty of electronic bits and bobs, but it's lacking a few. You've got the automatic headlights, you've got automatic wipers, you've got all of that you'd expect from a BMW this age. I've got sort of part electric seats, so I've got some switches, but not all. The seats aren't heated, they are just standard M Sport seats. They're really, really comfortable. Cloth, half leather, really comfortable seats, but not electrically, not heated. And even in my Z3, which is a 1997 car, I've got heated seats. So that's something that I'd be missing if I was to use this myself, and I'd look to upgrade these. Steering wheel, got the M Sport steering wheel, which is a really nice wheel to hold. It's thick.
Nice.
The leather's nice. It needs a good clean on it. We've got chipping off on these plastics as well, which is very, very common. So either replace them, I might even just take all of this sort of wax layer off and just leave it shiny black. That's quite nice. But the steering wheel needs a tidy up. The whole interior genuinely needs a tidy up. I mean, it is filthy. I don't think anyone's really looked after this car recently, cleaned it. I know it's been sat at the side of the road for a bit. We've got chipping to the start button, which I'd like to replace, just to tidy it up a bit. Need to get some floor mats. The button's scrubbed off there, so I'd like to replace this fascia. But other than that, the interior is pretty good. But we don't have dual zone climate. We've only got the single zone climate, and those who know these cars as well, looking at the size of that screen, will know that we don't have any sat nav in this car either. So we've just got the basic iDrive with the radio and obviously the car settings. We don't have the sat nav. So again, that's something that if I was to keep this car, I would look to upgrade that. There's a couple of options. You can use like the Android units, the aftermarkets, or you can retrofit one of the later CIC units to this, which is the more modern iDrive with the sat nav, with the Bluetooth, with the hands-free, all of that. So we don't have any Bluetooth hands-free in this car either. The cost of that is anywhere from £700 to £900, depending on where you source the bits from. But that is again something that I won't be doing if I choose to just sell this car on. But if I choose to keep this car for a bit myself, I might look at upgrading that. Again, single zone climate, no dual zone climate. To be honest, it's not the end of the world. As long as I myself, as the driver, are happy with the climate in the car, that's fine. It blows ice cold. Aircon works perfectly. Gets hot really quickly. No faults at all. We have got the later version, again with the gear selector. This is a nice gear selector. I do like the look of it. And it does really sort of make this car feel a lot more modern. This car is basically 15 years old. And it does not feel it at all, maybe other than this. And the only thing that really dates it is probably the iDrive system. The rest of it feels really modern. I think these have aged brilliantly. And for the money, these cars are fantastic, as I'm sure anyone who owns one will know. So yeah, all in all, it's not a bad car. We're in a lay-by just outside of York. I'm on my way to U-Pull-It. I thought I'd do this before I get the car cleaned because sort of for me it's a 4-hour round trip and the car's gonna get absolutely filthy with the UK weather at the minute. So I'm on my way to U-Pull-It. I'm about 10 minutes away now. I'm just gonna get some bits for the car, so I'm gonna look for some interior bits, see what I can find. I've got to get a jack-in point. If you look underneath here, there is a rubber pad on the opposite side of the car that is missing, so I need to get one of those. I want to try and get a couple of interior bits and generally see what I can find. I've got a few other bits and bobs that I'm looking for, maybe for the van, but I've been to U-Pull-It before on a previous video, so check that out if you're interested. But it's basically a scrapyard in the UK run by Copart, and you can just go there, walk around and help yourself to the bits, and it is super cheap. The bits are a fraction of what they would cost you if you bought them online. And to be honest, I think it's a nice day out if you're into cars. Just have a look around, mess around, tinker. They've got like 800 cars in stock, so it's a great place. But we'll be there shortly, see what we can find for this car. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention as well. I noticed that my mirrors, I've got power fold mirrors, obviously auto dimming, electric, all of that. Driver's side one works perfectly, passenger side one doesn't work at all. So I've got no power, I can't adjust it, I can't fold it. So I'm not sure about that. That might be a connection problem. I've checked fuses already, I checked fuses this morning. Might be a connection problem, it might be a module that's wrong in the mirror. I don't really know. I've never actually had to replace one, but if I can get a mirror that works, I might buy one of them as well, just in case. So we're on the lookout for a mirror, we're on the lookout for a tow cover, we're on the lookout for some interior bits and bobs, a jacking point, and just whatever else we can find for a good price. I almost forgot to mention, we've got 155,000 miles on the clock, which is not that bad actually mileage wise for these, because they do tend to be sort of motorway munchers. And the MOT on this expires in a couple of days, so it's a little bit of a risk buying it, because it could end up going for an MOT and there could be hundreds of pounds worth of fixes needed. But we're going to take a gamble on it. It's booked in a couple of days for a new MOT, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed we're straight through, but we'll see. The obvious bits seem to be all good. We've got no knocks and bangs, brakes work fine. The car's not that old, so we shouldn't really have any terrible corrosion. The only thing I don't know about would be sort of emissions. I'm going to try and get the wheels refurbished tomorrow, so when I've got the wheels off the car and the car's up in the air, I'll have more of a sort of in-depth look and try and prepare it for the MOT. If there's anything that I think is obvious that it might fail on, we'll obviously get it sorted out, but we'll get it through its MOT, we'll see what it needs doing. If anything, we will tart it up a bit, make it look a lot better, remove that M badge from the boot because I can't stand it. It shouldn't be there. I hate when people do that. And yeah, hopefully turn this into a nice, honest, good, clean car. Maybe I'll keep it, like I say, maybe we'll sell it. Depends how much it's going to be worth. So stay tuned. So I'm back home, just at my local car wash. U-Pull it was a disaster. I didn't get anything at all. So I wasted 30 quid in fuel and 6 hours of my life. Unfortunately, the stock list that was online wasn't updated. So on the stock list, it said there was 3 E60s in stock that I could look around for parts, and it turned out there was only 1, and it didn't have anything that I needed. So I had a little look around again, didn't do any filming because there just wasn't anything that interesting to show you, and drove home, got some dinner on the way. So it's the next day. I've come to my local car wash just to get the outside of the car cleaned, and then in the next video I'm going to strip all the interior out, give the inside a really good detail, get into all the little cracks and crevices, try and get the car as good as it possibly can be on the inside. We'll see how much money's under the seats, because the best job to do every time when you buy a new car is take the seats out and see how much money's underneath the rails that people have left there. I've seen a couple of quid for definite, so hopefully we'll get a nice little refund back. Stay tuned if you want to see some more on the E60. If you're interested in these cars, if you've got one of these cars, stay tuned to this series. I will be continuing with the Z3, and I'll be continuing with the van as well. But I've just I lost a bit of motivation on the van recently. There's just so much to do on it. There's so much money to spend, and I'm just really busy. Work's been really busy over winter. It always is. It's dying down again now, so plenty of time for videos and car content, and hopefully some interesting stuff. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll see you on the next video. We'll dig deeper into the C60 and see how it turns out when it's clean again. Might also see if we can get the wheels done in the next video as well. It's weather permitting. I've got 1 day to do it before I'm back at work, so as long as the weather stays dry today, I will try and get the wheels done as well. Alright, I'll catch you on the next video.